So there's been a lot of miscommunication about superdelegates in mainstream media. And not just in terms of not explaining what they are, but oftentimes not even showing that there are superdelegates and showing the difference between superdelegates and pledge delegates. So we're going to get to, first just to give an overall explanation of superdelegates, we're going to go to Vox.com. The Democratic nomination will be determined by 4,763 total delegates, 4,051 chosen by the voters, and 712 who fit the super category. The 712 superdelegates are made up of two major groups. One is prominent elected Democrats, including all the party's governors, the president and vice president, and all of its members of Congress. The second group consists of all members of the Democratic National Committee. That includes elected representatives like mayors and county executives, as well as presidents of various Democratic organizations like the National Federation of Democratic Women and the College Democrats of America, according to DNC's bylaws. And it's important to note, so superdelegates they're individuals, and they have as much of a say as thousands and thousands of voters do voting in primaries and caucuses for their candidate. It's a very undemocratic thing. You have the establishment essentially having more power than the people do. And even people like Nancy Pelosi, who is supporting Hillary Clinton, I don't know if she's publicly supporting her, actually she probably is, but she's a very establishment politician, and even she finds superdelegates to be undemocratic. So I feel after this election season, there may be some changes to the superdelegate system simply because it doesn't make sense to have these ultra powerful people in the establishment having more power than the voters. It's important to also see that superdelegates can and historically have changed before the nomination. So this is Obama against Clinton in 2008. So this is just superdelegates. So as you can see, Clinton had a big lead in superdelegates up until early May when Obama began to surpass her in terms of the pledge delegate vote. So then that's about the time where superdelegates switched over to Obama. So they had been supporting Clinton, and then they had seen that the popular vote was going to Obama. So they wanted to follow the will of the people. So they switched to Obama over Clinton. You very rarely get to see the breakdown of how superdelegates work and what the counts are compared to what the allocated pledge delegates are. This is a rare case on MSNBC where they showed that. So this is Steve Kornacki. This is during during primary night on Tuesday, where he broke down how many superdelegates Hillary Clinton has against Bernie Sanders, how many allocated or pledged delegates that they each have, and then the totals. So you can see there right now Hillary Clinton has a large lead in superdelegates with 431, and Bernie Sanders has 22. And like I said, that can and historically has changed before the nomination. So if Bernie Sanders continues to dominate, or I guess begins to dominate, and starts gaining on Hillary Clinton's lead in the allocated column, then those superdelegates should move over to him. Now, will they? We won't know until it happens. But they should, because for them to go against the will of the people, there would be just an insane uproar. So that's one of the rare times where you will see superdelegates in a column, allocated delegates in another column, and then the totals at the side. What normally happens is something like this. This is on Rachel Maddow, and I hate to do this because I love Rachel Maddow, but even she is guilty of doing this.
And this was the delegate haul for those two candidates this weekend. And this is the daunting delegate lead that Secretary Clinton holds over Senator Sanders overall. The next big contest in the Democratic presidential race is...
Did you catch that? The delegate count at the end there, those two big totals, where it looks like Hillary Clinton has this insurmountable lead over Bernie Sanders, and there is no explanation. Here's the frame, just in case you missed it. This is what she showed. And it's one thing to show this, which is already poor in terms of journalistic integrity, just to show this frame. But then for her to not even explain afterwards that these are not official cut in stone delegate counts. These can change, and historically have changed. But no, right now it looks like Hillary Clinton has a 600 lead on Bernie Sanders, and she doesn't. And then you here's another example coming up. The reason I'm showing you MSNBC here is because MSNBC is one of the few cable news stations that I watch, and they get it wrong constantly. CNN does the same thing. Fox News, to be honest, I don't watch Fox News, so I don't know if they do the same thing or not. I would assume they do, but maybe they don't because they don't like Hillary, so who knows. But it's miscommunication, and it's giving people the wrong information. And this is an example. So this is during primary night on Tuesday, where Chuck Todd makes a great point about Hillary Clinton's electability or lack thereof in a general election because of the states that she's won so far. But then it goes and the frame that pops up undermines his entire discussion.
We know that, and we know what the Clinton spin's going to be tonight. They're going to win the night on delegates. Because guess what? That's a fact. They're going to win a night on delegates. There's no doubt about it. But we are seeing her weaknesses are where Donald Trump will have strengths.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
And with this same group of voters that Bernie Sanders is appealing to, those folks, I mean, this is why she ought to, when she goes into general election mode, be thankful Bernie Sanders is still there. Because learning how to win over a Sanders supporter is going to help her face off Trump.
So there it is again. Chuck Todd makes a fantastic point about how the states that Hillary Clinton is winning so far are in the South. They're deep South states that are very Republican states when it comes to a general election. So she's winning states that aren't really important when it comes to winning the general election. Whereas Bernie Sanders is getting strong leads in primaries and caucuses like Colorado, where they are important swing states in a general election. And that's even more important this season because Donald Trump is doing strong in those same states. So if you have Donald Trump doing strong in these northeastern states, these generally more progressive states, and Hillary Clinton's not doing as well, then it shows that Hillary Clinton is a weaker candidate. And that also goes when you look at the polls, when you match up. I know it's early, but when you match up polls of Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump versus Bernie Sanders, Sanders comes out with much larger leads against Donald Trump than Hillary Clinton does. And so he makes that great point, but then this stupid frame comes up. This frame that again, it's bullshit. These delegates, that's not how many delegates she has. These are not total delegates. I mean, for them to have the word total there, like these are the final delegates so far. This is bullshit. Those aren't the total delegates. I don't know why they keep doing this. I mean, the conspiratorial part of me wants to say they want to push Hillary Clinton, so they keep showing that she has this big lead so people won't vote for Bernie Sanders. But are they really doing that? Because that is fucking terrible if this is a conscious choice. And if it's an unconscious choice, then it's very poor journalism. I don't know. I don't know how to fix this. I tweet at them. I don't think they read it because they're large corporate accounts. But this happens again and again. It happens on Morning Joe. It happens on all their fucking shows. This is supposed to be the liberal network. or at least it was supposed to be the liberal network, MSNBC. And they're not showing the true facts here. The Democratic Party is supposed to be the party of facts, and they're being deeply, they're communicating just the complete wrong information. And it has an influence on the election, or it can, and I believe it does. Because older people that don't go online, that don't know the history, that don't know superdelegates changed for Obama, that don't know all this information, because they don't go online, they see this information in passing and think, oh my God, Hillary Clinton has this huge lead. There's no way Bernie Sanders can come back. I'm not going to bother voting for him, or I'm not going to look into him. I'm just going to vote for Hillary Clinton or not vote at all. This is the ridiculousness that misinformation in mainstream media does to people. And I don't know why they keep doing it. People complain about this all the time. It's not just me. A lot of people complain about this ridiculous miscommunication with superdelegates. And they still haven't changed. They still haven't changed it. And they'll occasionally have someone on, like I showed you with Steve Kornacki, who breaks it down. But they shouldn't have to have the math data guy on screen for you to understand that superdelegates are not final delegates until the nomination happens in the summer.